Hello and welcome to Monsoon Mike's Weather Balloon with me, Monsoon Mike, taking you on a journey through a little bit of weather education, a little bit of weather history, and then the current weather for the next few days of your life. First, for our education segment. Well, it was Monsoon Mike's big 35th birthday this past week, and in honor of my birthday, see, I'm so stuck on myself, I self-recognize my own birthday. Seriously, no. Actually, I saw it as a good time to run down my very own top 10 list of weather events that had an influence on my life from 1976 to today. You see, Monsoon Mike wasn't always the weather nut he is now, but having a weather-loving late uncle who had a big influence on me, plus those events that fired up my interest in weather that I'm about to go over with you, is what really made Monsoon Mike what he is today, whatever the heck that's supposed to be. I originally released this list to my fans on Facebook on Labor Day, counting down the top 10 events leading up to the end of summer holiday and leading up to my winter forecast, which, of course, I shared with you a few weeks ago. So here goes, the top 10 weather events that influenced my life from the date of my birth, October of '76, to now, 2011. Starting at number 10, the heat of 1995. Humans tend to forget easily, and after the incredible heat of this past July, we forget how warm 1995 really was. The winter of '94-95 had a very quick end with a full week, the first week of March in the 70s, before winter was even officially done. This was followed by the only other time besides this year that I've recorded a temperature of at least 100 on July 15, 1995. 1995 is one toasty year for my second year of college. Number 9, drought of 1988. As an 11 going on 12-year-old, I can clearly remember the images on the evening news of Midwestern states so parched that the ground was cracked. While it wasn't so bad here in Pennsylvania, I clearly remember weather guru in the making, being upset that I had no storms to track for seemingly months. Every day for 3 straight months, sunny, 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 and hot. Boy, did I actually miss the clouds and rain. Event number 8, Thanksgiving snow of 1989. Little low pressure surprised many parts of the Mid-Atlantic with a white Thanksgiving, the first white Thanksgiving of my life that I could remember. 4 inches, not too bad in this area for Thanksgiving. We had plans to go to Vermont for the holiday on a bus, and the snow didn't stop us because by the time we drove north into New York, there was no snow. It was only a localized storm. Event number 7, thunderstorms of the summer of 1985. I was 7 going on 8 at the time, and particularly remember that summer because it was the first full summer in our Lansdale, Pennsylvania home where I lived from '84 to '97. The atmosphere was particularly active that summer for whatever reason, causing violent thunderstorms almost weekly. I clearly remember my paranoid mom making us hide in the interior-most core of the house every time one of those storms hit. Those storms really helped grow my interest in weather. Event number 6, July heat of 2011, this year. I'm not being overly focused, I don't think, on the recent past in my inclusion of this in my top 10, as I truly believe 50 years from now I will remember that one horrid day when I saw a temperature I never thought I'd see on my thermometer. 103. The only other time I reached 100 or better on the Monsoon Mike thermometer was, like I just said earlier, July 15, '95. And I hope I don't see it again for a long time. I hate the heat. I never remember a day where I felt like I had just died stepping out the door. Event number 5, January 7th, 1994 ice storm. I still have funny memories of our neighbor in the town I lived in who had a penchant to always have a beer in one hand, walking out the door yelling, bragging to us as we chipped ice, it's just a little bit of ice. 2 seconds later, guess what? He's on his butt yelling, I guess it's worse than I thought. Worst it was, thickest ice I ever saw, trees coated in a glorious but very destructive 1 inch of ice taking out power in many areas. Event number 4, February-March 2007 snowstorms. Who could forget the infamous Valentine storm of '07 that left hundreds of people cold and stranded on I-78? But I most remember the early months of 2007 because on March 16, 2007, my youngest daughter Maggie was born in the middle of a late-season snowstorm that dumped 10 inches over my area and left me digging out my car out of the hospital parking lot the next morning. A memorable birth. Event number 3, blizzard of 1996. Now, a lot of you college students are probably old enough now to remember this one. While not my favorite snowstorm of all time, oops, did I just give away what could be 2 or 1? The blizzard of January 7th, '96 was special in that it was the most amazing snowstorm to track in real time with an amazing, unfettered, undry-slotted, sorry for the meteorology terms, swath of precipitation I've ever seen on radar. It started around 7 a.m. and tore at it for well over 24 hours, putting down an amazing 3 feet of snow. Event number 2, Eastern Pennsylvania flood of June 2006. Being a weather nut, I've always gotten joy into putting myself in the middle of a storm, right? Well, put myself in, I did. My little town and most of eastern Pennsylvania got, count 'em, 15 inches of rain, mostly in one day. My road flooded on the way home from work, and to get home, I had to park the car at the local convenience store, because there's only one way into my little rural town, and wade home in waist-deep water to get to my house. Fun stuff. Only I would find that fun. Anyway, event number 1, drum roll please. Thank you. Blizzard of February 11th, 1983. You college kids are probably a little too young to remember that, but Cara's old enough to remember that. Ching, sorry, Cara. The day started like any other. Schools back then didn't close based on a forecast. KUTV said big snow was coming, but none was falling, so off us kids went. 1 hour in, and it started to snow. And snow, and snow. Buses got stuck. My panicking mom ventured out in her 1970 Chevy to look for us, not a good idea, and got stuck. She had to come home with me on a school bus. That was fun. School bus driver rescued her. 2 feet fell in 24 hours in the storm that officially started my love for weather. February 11th, 1983. Snowstorm, I salute you. Now you know a little bit more about the weather. Up next, this date in weather history. Now time for the weather history segment, this date in weather history. On this date in 1804, an odd, very early winter coastal storm off the New England coast occurred, causing high winds from Maine to New Jersey and dropping up to 3 feet of snow in some parts of New England in early October. Being so early in the season and because of the high winds, many folks have written about the storm in history books as the famous snow hurricane of 1804. Just the opposite in 1928 on this day. Normal temperatures this time of year in the normally chilly Minneapolis are about 60. Not on this date in 1928. Try 30 degrees higher, 90 in Minnesota in October. Imagine how people felt on that day in the part of the country where you can get away without air conditioning most of the time of year, and in an era when, well, air conditioning hardly even existed for Pete's sake. And to think we only started worrying about global warming now. 1973. 15 to 20 inches of rain in north-central Oklahoma from storms that sat over one area for an entire day. Not unlike what happened just up the road from here in northeast PA a few weeks ago. Very similar situation. 1979, more snow to talk about in New England, this time in Worcester, Massachusetts with over 7 inches. By the way, the late 70s were notoriously viciously cold in New England. So those poor folks were just getting an early taste back in '79 of what was to come the following months. And in 1989, more flooding rain to talk about, this time in Florida, where one town in northeast Florida recorded 16 inches of rain, flooding homes and businesses. That's what happened on this date over the years. Up next, your forecast for the next few days of your life. And now for the forecast for the next few days of your life. Monday and most of Tuesday, generally partly cloudy conditions with temperatures around 70. We expect more rain to move into the area by midweek with temperatures falling. And then the week wraps up Thursday and Friday with temperatures quite chilly in the upper 50s to low 60s under partly cloudy skies.
3, 2, 1.
I am an electronic media major.
I'm an EM major.
We are EM majors.
I'm an electronic media major.
We are electronic media majors.
We are
Electronic media at Kutztown.
And this has been Monsoon Mike's Weather Balloon. Thanks so much for watching this week and reminding you to tune in again next time and join me here in my weather balloon.